Hey y'all, welcome back to Poplar Creek Farm. Tonight I am doing my part 4 of my hobby farm to business series. I just want to let you guys know I have no idea how many parts of this series I'm going to be doing. I'm just kind of doing them as I go, and what I mean by as I go is as I'm learning things about business, I am doing videos on them pretty much. Because this is really, I'm really trying to grow my business and develop a business and teach you guys hopefully how to do it based on what I'm doing. Will it work? I don't know. But I want to be able to at least show you guys the steps I'm taking. And then if it works, you guys know how to at least somewhat start a business, hopefully. So tonight I am going to do kind of a second part from the last video. So the last video was my mom and I doing the spreadsheets to keep track of all of our expenses. Now, spreadsheets are great, except for they are a little bit limiting because you can't break it down. You can do spreadsheets for each individual product, but it's not super simple on a spreadsheet. It's a lot easier to do kind of like, okay, my soap making business, or, you know, the soap making part of my business, or the honey part of my business, or the, gardening part of my business. It's easier to do it like that and do big picture and then break things down on paper, to kind of figure out what you should be selling your products for. And that's basically why I did this, was to figure out how much I should sell my products for, and is there a profit margin? Am I going to be able to make profit? Because if it's going to take me, say I'm making a bar of soap, it's going to take me $5 to make that bar of soap, and I can really only sell it for $5 or $6. Well, that's not worth it. But if I can make that bar of soap for $1, $2, and I can sell it for $4, $5, $6, I can make profit. So what I did, because I ordered all of my supplies for the lip balm recipe I'm going to do out of my beeswax alchemy book. This I ordered on Amazon. Really good book. Love it. It's got all different beeswax project ideas. So that's where I'm getting the recipe from. And that's where a lot of my recipes for any of my beeswax products will come from. So first what I did was I wrote down everything that I need, all the ingredients. I figured out how much beeswax I have. I have 174 grams of beeswax. So the recipe was all in grams. So 174 grams, so I need 20 grams for each recipe. So you take that 174 to figure out how many batches you can do, and you divide that by however much you need. So 174 divided by 20 is 8.7. I'm not going to do a 0.7 of a recipe, so it's 8 recipes. And then I took every ingredient like that. So cocoa butter. I need 20 grams of cocoa butter for the recipe. So I went ahead and went online and looked for cocoa butter, and I found a package that came in 16 ounces, 1 pound batch. So I only need 20 grams of that. So first, because this recipe is in grams, I had to do a lot of conversion. Because most, when you're purchasing them, they don't come in grams. They come in ounces or pounds, or you don't see them in grams. We're in the United States, and grams just aren't super widely used. I use kilograms a lot in pediatrics, but not, I'm not used to seeing grams super often. So there's 28.35 grams in 1 ounce. So 16 ounces, you do 16 times 28.35 to figure out how many grams you're going to have in this package. That came to 453.6 grams, which means in that whole package of cocoa butter that I ordered, I have 453 grams. How many recipes can I do? So I took that full number, divided it by 20, because 20 is how many grams I needed, and I can do 22 recipes, which is a ton. Obviously more than the beeswax I have, but I will use this in future recipes. It's not going to be a one and done. I am going to be making soap. I'm going to be making other beeswax products, lotions, things like that. So this is not going to be something that I throw away afterwards. And that's the idea. I'm breaking it down per product, per tube of lip balm that I'm going to be making, because I'm just bringing that for what this product is. Yes, I will use it for other ones, and it may break down a little bit differently in price for those ones, but overall I want to figure out how much it's costing me per actual tube, so that I know how much I can make off of each tube. If I just added all these up and divided by how many tubes I could make, they would be a lot more expensive and I probably wouldn't have much profit on them. So if you break it down per tube, it just makes more sense. Or per bar of soap, or per container of lotion, or per container of honey, or, you know, whatever. So again, I could do 22 recipes. I'm not going to do 22 recipes, but it cost me $14.99. Knowing I can make 22 recipes out of that, I took the $14.99 and divided it by 22 to figure out how much it's going to be per batch. Now, a batch for this recipe is 20 tubes. So 68 cents is what it came out to per batch. So that's per 20 tubes. But per tube individually, it was 3 cents. So basically I did that for every ingredient. I had to convert into grams. Then I figured out how many, with the grams that I was purchasing, how many recipes I could make. And then took the price, divided that by the number of recipes I could make. And that was my batch. And then took the batch and divided that by 20 because I should be able to make 20 tubes out of each batch. And so then it gives me a price per tube. So total what it came down to was about 30 cents a tube. 35 cents a tube is what it really came down to. So, and that's with including the tubes, because obviously you have to include those, not just the ingredients, you need the tubes, and labels, because I'm going to be needing to label my product. And that total was, like I said, 35 cents a tube. I can probably sell a very, a natural beeswax lip balm for $3 or $4 a tube. I don't know if I'll sell it for that much. I might sell it for closer to $2 to $2.50, just because I'm not looking to make this massive profit on every item. I want them to be affordable for my customers. I do need to make a profit. I need it to be worth it for me to make, but at the same time, I don't want it to be outrageously expensive. So I figured out that I can definitely make a profit on that. Even if I'm only making $1.50 on it, if I make 100 tubes, $1.50 is going to add up. Not to this huge, massive, high rolling income off of this, but it's income, it's profit. And then I did this for a couple other things. I did this for two basic bar soap, or I did it for a basic bar soap recipe as well as a lavender bar soap. Now, yes, you think, okay, soap, probably going to be very similar price per bar. It is, but when you get into the specialty bars or the, when you get into bars where you're adding color and you're adding scents and you're adding oatmeal, you're adding like lavender petals, or you're adding things to them, it's going to add to the price. So I did a basic bar recipe, which makes 3 pounds or 12 4-ounce bars. And I broke down each ingredient, same thing. So I took the full amount that I had, and this was a little easier, like I said, because it came in an easier to convert recipe. It was all in ounces. The recipe is in ounces. So I took that, converted it. A lot of those things came in pounds, so I converted that to ounces. Figured out how many batches, took the price, divided by the number of batches, figured out my price per batch, and then figured out my price per bar. So the basic bar recipe, which is very, very minimal ingredients, it was 5 ingredients. And this price is not including any labeling because I'm just not sure what I'm going to use to label at this point. I want to label with something that is eco-friendly, so something that can be recycled or composted. I don't want to label with anything that just has to go in the garbage, so I kind of have to figure that out still. So that will add to my cost. But at the end of the day, per bar, which is should be able to make 12 4-ounce bars, it was $1.21 a bar. Really not bad when you can sell natural soap for $4, $5, $6, sometimes even more dollars per bar. Now a basic bar, obviously, you can't sell for that much necessarily. It'd be on the lower end. But when you get into the more specialty bars, you can sell them for more. So sometimes it is worth it. But it is really good to go down for each recipe you're doing and just figure out, can you still make profit, especially when you're getting those specialty recipes? Because if you're adding, 10 different ingredients to the basic bar recipe, it's going to add up a lot in the price. So again, I said I did a lavender bar soap. Same thing, 3 pounds, 12 4-ounce bars. And this one was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ingredients. So significantly more than the last recipe. And a few different ones, so I'd obviously have to buy them differently from the other recipe. But this one came out to $1.82 a bar, which really isn't, it's 60 cents more than the last bar. But for a lavender bar, that's really not that bad. And again, I can sell it for $4, $5, $6, $7 a bar and make a pretty good profit off of that. So that may be a lot more worth it because it's only 60 cents more to make, but I can probably sell it for $1 or so more. So those are the things to look at. I also did a really basic one for my seedlings. So I'm trying to show you guys what it looks like in for different things. And again, this is something like I'm doing this for seedlings, but you can also do this for poultry or for, pork or for beef if you're selling. You can do this for livestock, you can do it for eggs. It's taking, what your cost of your chickens are, what your cost of feed is, what you could sell that chicken for, and figuring out where that, is there space for profit. That's not having to break down each individual ingredient, but it's the same idea. So, seedlings, I just did this really kind of estimated. It's very basic. It is not an exact, and I will keep track better this coming year when I start seedlings to be able to figure out how much like soil I'm actually using and everything. So I took think about a basic tomato seed from Baker Creek or something like that. Most of those seeds are around $3 a package, and you get typically anywhere from 20 to 25 seeds. A lot of them are 25 seeds. I'm not going to expect 100% germination, even though sometimes I do get some extra seeds. You're still not gonna have perfect germination. Sometimes I do, but it's not always gonna happen, and I don't want to count on that. So say I get 20 plants of those 25 seeds. The $3, break that down into 20 plants, 15 cents a plant. I use Burpee seed starting mix because it is eco-friendly. It is not the 100% renewable because it does use coconut coir, but it is a lot better than peat moss products, which is a whole other thing I'm not going to get into right now. But that is $7.95 for an 8 quart package. I cannot remember for the life of me if one package equals one tray or how much I actually use. But I broke it down for one tray, which is 50 seeds, or 50 blocks. So 20 plants is only a portion of that. It'd be around 39 cents a plant. Now, again, this is very estimated. This is a very quick throw together. I will keep track of my spending this time and how much I'm actually using so that I can actually figure out how much my profit is and how much I'm spending. And then I looked at a potting mix through Burpees as well, because again, it's coconut coir, and most potting mixes have peat moss, and I really try to avoid that. And that was about 92 cents a plant. So at this point, the total is $1.46. Then I had to take into consideration the pots. I am not figuring in for the trays right now because I will use those trays every year. Plus, I'm also starting seeds for myself. And so I don't feel, it's really hard to kind of split that. Mine versus the business when you're doing something like seedlings. So I ordered 400 pots from Bootstrap Farmer. Those pots were $64.99 total. So it's about 16 cents a pot. The more pots you order through them, the cheaper it is per pot. So I will definitely order in large quantities. I'll never order small quantities just because it's not worth it. Now these are very durable pots, and last year I only used solo cups, so these ones will hopefully last, and I'm hoping for people to return them. If they don't, whatever, I will replace them, but I'm hoping for return. So that could decrease a little bit of my cost. But that comes to $1.62 per plant. Now, last year I was selling my plants for $2 a plant. Now, again, I used red solo cups last year, and it was my first year doing it, so I wasn't looking for a huge profit. But my plants were really good size, and they were very healthy, established plants. So I do feel like I could get a little more for each plant. You saying hi? And so I may increase my price a little bit because as of right now, I'm only making, 40, not even 40 cents, 38 cents per plant. And that's not really reasonable when I'm also using energy. And again, I am not going to figure that out, how much energy I'm using for the LED lights, because I have solar panels and I don't have electric bills all the time. So it's really hard to compare and figure that out. So I cannot, my math abilities are not the greatest, so I'm not getting into that. Yeah. So again, $1.62 per plant. I need to increase the price of my plants to be able to make a profit, to be able to make a real profit. And so that's something I'm happy I looked at this, because I was figuring I was going to do $2 a plant again, and I would have potentially been losing some money. You know, when you're getting into more expensive seeds, because some of the seeds are a little more expensive, or you have less quantity of seeds in each package, it definitely would not be worth it to be selling them. So I hope this helped you guys to figure out how you actually break down, you know, each product and each cost of each product, so that you can figure out what you should be selling them for and what your profit would be. If you're going to have a business, you need to know that you're going to make profit. You can't just go into a business being like, yeah, you know, whatever, which is kind of how I initially went into it. But now looking at this makes me realize how important this actually is to figure out. So I am going to update you guys as I actually make some of these things, and as I start selling and seeing where I can actually sell things, you know, what prices I can actually sell things at, and just kind of update you guys as we go. I will also be doing another video soon about, I actually have our insurance. We're going to hopefully be getting the farm insurance, and that will also have to be figured into the overall cost and profit of the farm business. So I will update you guys on that as well. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today. Remember, we're going today for a better tomorrow.
Please like and subscribe and join me on the next